Okay, now let's move on to another concept, another archetype that we've been talking about. What we want to do now is talk about what it's like to be a servant. And again, following after that characteristic, that archetype of what Jesus has laid out for us. So one of my favorite people of all time is a guy by the name of Ben Franklin. And I just find him fascinating in so many different ways. And I just love to read and learn more about him. One of the things that's interesting about Ben Franklin is that he was a scientist, he was a statesman, a beloved friend, a writer, a negotiator, athlete. He was a teacher, and he was a man that had an almost childlike curiosity that just drove him to want to experience and learn and to find out something new. Now, there's a biography that was written by Edmund S. Morgan, and in that biography, there's a story in there where Morgan is explaining how one day Ben Franklin was sitting around with his mother, and they were having conversation, and he said of himself, he said, "After my life is all over, I hope that they say about me that he had lived usefully." Lived usefully. Now, what in the world could that mean? Well, what that means is what he was getting at is that everything in his life, that everything that he did and the service that he had, and that's the key, that he was serving other people with his talents. He was trying to use everything that he had to help humanity. And so this idea of living usefully then is, how can I then live like that, where I am useful to other people? And I love that. I just love it. So living usefully as a servant of mankind is something that I would like to do with my life as well. And I hope that you do too, because if we really start understanding the Bible and understanding how Jesus actually was, we'll see that Jesus was a servant. He was someone that wanted to serve other people. And we'll get into that as we go. So what an amazing thought, to give my life away. And that's tough to do, right? But this idea of our faith is for us and thinking that it's only for me is incorrect. It means, more importantly, or as importantly maybe, that our faith is actually for the rest of the world. And with that being said, we should try and do our best to follow Jesus and to be more service-minded. Okay, so what does it look like to truly be a servant of mankind? Well, this is one of the things that was going through my mind on a Saturday morning when I got up to go paddleboarding. And what I did was, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. I still remember it very well. It was the rain. It had been raining, and the rain was now starting to kind of dissipate and move on. And it was really, really cool because a cloud bank had been moving off of the water. And if I look over to my left, it would be raining and, hitting the water and causing splashes and so forth. If I looked over to the right, there was no rain. And then behind me, as I looked over to the east, the sun was getting ready to come up. It was moving away and out of the cloud bank that was causing that rain. It was just a really, really beautiful morning. So anyway, what I did was I put my paddleboard in the water and I started taking off as this was happening. And as I was doing it and seeing that sight that was in front of me, all of a sudden in my mind, a quote from Henry David Thoreau's essay called "Walking" came to my mind. And this is what it says. It says, "I took a walk on Spalding's farm the other afternoon. I saw the setting sun lighting up the opposite side of a stately pine wood. Its golden rays straggled into the aisle of the wood as into some noble hall. I was impressed as if some ancient and altogether admirable and shining family had settled there, to whom the sun was servant." Now, key in on that last piece when what it says here, that to whom the Son was servant. Now, think about that. When I first read this, it kind of struck me as an odd picture of the sun, this massive fireball in the sky that dwarfs the earth on the overall size of it. And I think about how it sits up there and it's very regular. It gets up every day. It gives us sun. It goes down at a certain time every day. It's very regular. And as I was thinking about the sun, which was coming up behind me, remember, as I was paddleboarding, was that it seems to be a servant. It seems to be serving the earth. And with that being said, if we remember that we were put here for a reason, that God put us here on this planet for a reason, then suddenly when we think about the sun, it in some ways is serving us. Now that might sound incredibly arrogant, but I just don't think it is. The reason why I say that then is we have to stop for a minute and think about, how did the sun actually get up there? How did it end up there? Well, if we believe the Christian worldview, it means that the sun was put there and created by the creator of the universe. And that is our God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, put that in the sky. So if you think about that, then if the sun is a servant to mankind, to earth, then surely God himself has to be one too. He is a servant to mankind, and that may bother some of you, but think about it. Think about the things that Jesus did. So he unfailingly serves his creation by generously giving of himself to uphold, sustain, protect, and nourish all that he has. And that's what we're getting at here, guys. This is what it means. If I look at Jesus as an authentic man, if I think about the Creator, that means then that we should be giving ourselves away to be more like him. So when we do this, we discover that true serving is self-giving in the context of interdependent relationships. This is how the Trinity functions. This is how nature functions. And this is also how God designed humanity to function.